Meanwhile, the Trump administration and a federal judge continued their face-off today. The trouble started over the weekend. A federal judge issued an order to pause deportations on Saturday, but a plane filled with deportees was already in the air heading for El Salvador. Instead of turning the plane around, the plane proceeded as planned, and now the judge has questions about the program, but says the Department of Justice is stonewalling him. If that wasn't enough, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, went on TV and called the judge radical and said they never stopped the deportations. And with that, we do want to bring in our NBC10 political commentator, Sue O'Connell. Sue, what's your read on this situation? Did the Trump administration violate a court order, or is this just a matter of bad timing?
Well, Priscilla, I have a couple of thoughts. First, we're using the word deportation to describe what happened. But the truth is, we don't know who was detained, who was put on that plane, and they were delivered to another country, not their home country, to serve jail time. And there are reports we're finding right now that some individuals on the plane were actually in the United States legally. There was no due process, no court order. So some might think it's kidnapping. But to your question, did the Trump administration violate the judge's order? He gave a verbal order to stop the process. And some planes, as you noted, were already in the sky. They did not turn around and return to the United States. So it seems pretty clear that the order from the federal judge to the Trump administration was ignored.
Well, let's say the president does ignore an order by a federal judge. I mean, as you said, this order was verbal. Is that enforceable, a verbal order?
Yeah, it is enforceable, absolutely, Priscilla. It was not in writing, so that's what the issue is. But, so what would happen if, indeed, the president ignored this federal judge's order? Well, it has the potential of creating a constitutional crisis. Why? Because there are three branches of government, and they are co-equal. If a president disobeys, any president disobeys a court order, the enforcement options are limited. U.S. Marshals could intervene, but guess who they report to? The Department of Justice, which the president heads. Or Congress could act through impeachment, funding cuts, or changing legislation. And of course, the Republicans are leading both houses of Congress. So these options seem unlikely, and that's why many people are concerned that we are absolutely headed for a constitutional crisis.
All right, so we'll see how this all ends up playing out. Thanks so much.
Indeed.